sometimes, we're now, that was instant. Right, let me
Okay.
click broadcast. Right, there we go. So, welcome, Dave, to Coffee with Jane and Wisdom
Thank you.
Wednesdays. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. Yes, I've been out networking this morning and met some lovely people. So yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Brilliant. And could you give us a little intro into your business and your life? You.
Okay, gosh, how long have you got?
That's a biggie. You've only got 5 minutes.
That is a big, isn't it? 5 minutes. So
No,
stop
no,
me if I go on
you,
too long, all right?
yeah, we've got
Yeah.
loads of time.
So let's start with what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about what I call helping people to have the skills and confidence to create success. And that manifests itself in a lot of ways. So, in terms of ancient history, if you like, I started my life as a cartographer, so I made maps of Africa largely for the government, which was a fabulous career. And digital mapping caught up with us. I had another 12 years as a computer systems developer, and then I went through redundancy, and I thought, I had one criteria when I came out. I thought I've got to have something that I've got a real passion for. And
Hmm.
I did a lot of different sort of research until I came across what's now my current business, which is if you want a job title, career coaching. But for me, it's a lot more than that, because what really sort of fires me up is working with people who are, we work together so they can develop a lifestyle that they want, that's supported um, by a career that they love, that rewards them in the way that they want
Yeah.
to get rewarded. So it's not just about money, and increasingly I'm meeting people who, the first criteria is I want to be happy at work and I want to be happy outside of work. For me, having
Yeah.
those, people say, well, that's a bit of a vague goal, but actually, if that's your main goal, that really helps you make good decisions. So, you know,
Definitely.
in terms of me, sort of my career is largely around helping people in their careers, but it's that more holistic type of view. And I mean, and outside of that, just to sort of give an idea of what I do outside, I've got a couple of kids, so there's a lot of fun time spent with them. They're one at high school, one just about to go to high school. I love mountaineering. I love wild places. I've done a lot of fabulous expeditions, and the interesting thing is that it all comes together in what I do now. The expeditions, the mapping, the computing, it all sort of gets into helping people to create a map of where they want to go, helping them to overcome challenges, helping them to find ways of doing things more quickly so that they change the programs that they're running, those limiting beliefs and things like that, those ways that we always reacted, into things that are more useful.
Yeah. I
Because
love it. And
so
Willow has said she loves maps. I love maps too. I've
cool.
got, so when I went traveling around Australia and New Zealand, I did a lot of
Uh-huh.
hiking.
Yeah.
Every hike I bought, a map to go with it. So I've got all my little maps and,
Yeah.
all my maps from the UK and around Europe as well. And
Oh, it's fabulous. I love
yeah,
them. I love them. That's a good job, really, considering I used to make them, I guess. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so well, I'll introduce myself and then
Yes.
we'll go to some set questions and we'll kind of link back in because that's a really what I find now is the kind of people I work with as well. We've had careers before. We might have had several careers before.
Yeah.
And then you get to like a certain age, kind of, I would say 30 and above. I see 30, 40, 50, and it's normally around the zero birthdays or the 45 or
Yeah.
that we start freaking out. And we're like, oh my God, I'm going to be 40. Oh my God, I'm going to be 45. Um, and that's when we start looking at changing and stuff.
Yeah.
And to be able to be an entrepreneur nowadays and to set up your own business doing something you love is far easier because there's people like us helping you. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And this, I think the community in the world is far more open to buying from small businesses, and buying unique products, whether that be a unique service from coaches, or whether that be unique furniture that's antique, that's been shabby chiced, or
Yeah,
whatever. I think people, they want to feel special, and
yeah.
they want to feel unique now. Um, and like yourself, I've had a few careers before this one, and at the moment I've got two anyway.
Why not?
Why
Portfolio.
not?
It's the done thing.
It is, it is. I'm in my massage top because I was seeing clients all morning, massage clients,
Sure.
and now I'm into the afternoon and doing coaching, which is great.
Cool.
But I started wanting to do health and social care. I knew I wanted to help people. I didn't know how. And I did like a 2-year college course. To be honest, I spent most of it in the pub playing pool. I was very good at the time.
I'll remember not to play you then.
I'm not good anymore. I haven't played in like 20 years. So you're all right. But yeah, all of the placements, they didn't really suit me. I definitely didn't want to work in an old people's home. I definitely didn't want to work in a school. On kind of what was left for me, I didn't know. So I came out of college. I didn't have a job. I think I started signing on. And then I bumped into a friend who was a computer engineer and was losing his license because of speeding too many times, being caught. And he was like, "What are you doing, Jane? Because I can't lose my job. I'm just going to have to get a driver so I can still be a field engineer and go around fixing computers." I said, "Well, I'm not doing anything and I do have a driving license. Let's go." So that is how I got into computers. And then I was a computer engineer, I had company cars, I was an IT manager, floor manager for an insurance company. It's crazy.
Yeah,
All
that's
for
where I did my computing at an insurance company. So there we go.
And then that wasn't fulfilling when I got stuck in an office. When I was driving around, I loved it because I love driving. But being stuck in an office and not feeling like your own boss, when you're out on the road driving about, you feel like your own boss, don't you?
Okay.
So then I decided I needed to go back to helping people.
Mhm.
And I did my massage so many years ago, and then changed career and went into the NHS, to the London Ambulance Service. And I was there for 11 years. And the last 4, probably didn't want to go in any single day of those 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm thankful for now I can help other people that feel like that actually get the confidence and skills to leave that job and kind of go full time in their dream, because it
Nice.
is scary, isn't it? But going full time in your dream is far more fulfilling, happier. I lost a stone and a half directly after leaving,
Wow.
and not going there again,
No.
just through happiness. So yes, helping people, that's kind of where I've come from for different careers. And now I've got the massage and yoga center, and I've got my online coaching. And I love these Wisdom Wednesdays because it opens up the floor for other people that I know, I've worked with, they've worked with me. Um, and yeah, it opens up the possibilities for ourselves, but also for everybody that's watching.
Fantastic.
So let's have a look. And please, lovely peeps that are watching, if you have any questions, just type them out and then we will answer them.
Cool.
Um, So, Dave, how did you start on the path to well, let's stay focused on finding the diamond within. How
Yeah.
did you start on that path, kind of niching it down and focusing on that?
Yeah, do you know what? Sometimes these comes, and certainly the phrase "discover the diamond" came almost by accident. It came because I've worked in career coaching since 2001, and I started. It was very sort of transactional CVs and interviews and how to go to the job market, and really what fired me up was the more holistic thing, as I said earlier, about the goal setting, the what's your dream, the bit that you do. That's where we align, really, isn't it? That thing about find your dream. But also I do a lot of work with people about finding out, what are all of the skills and qualities that they've got. What's the thing in here that, in their heart that makes them special? And that's what I call their diamond. Um, and what this really came from, I guess, was I've always had this ambition to get all of the skills I use with adults into the hands of young people, because we don't teach it to them in the education system, and we don't teach it to them once they get into work. So where do we learn it? We learn it when we go through a crisis. And that's not right. We should have those things beforehand. And almost every adult that I've ever worked with, and must have worked with thousands over 17 years, almost every one of them says, wow, this would have been great when I'd left school, And so for most of us, it's decades too late,
Yeah.
And so Discover the Diamond came out of a talk I did in London last August. And I was putting together, it's called a Know and Be Known. And I've talked to you about this, the Be Collaboration group that I'm part of. And that's a sort of personal development thing once a month. And I got to do what we call a Know and Be Known. And the idea of that is it's an hour-long talk, and it's a chance for people to understand who you are. And it's like who you are, not what you do. But obviously that includes the what you do as well. But also the other part of that is that you've got to give something back to the room to help them develop personally. Nice. So it's a two-way thing. And with the message, it's not like a network group where it's like, well, here's my stuff, don't you dare go and use it. It's like, well, here's some great stuff from my toolkit, go and use it. And how dare you not go and use it,
Yeah, that's collaborating fully. That's like this, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
We're sharing each other's tools and not saying, actually, this is my group, so you're not allowed to really talk about anything about you and your business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't talk about anything that clashes with what I do.
Yeah.
It's like the more we collaborate, the more that, because you'll have people and I have people sometimes, and I think, actually, I could help you, but I know someone else who's even better. Yeah. And that's a much nicer way to work. So anyway, out of that talk, I was putting this together, and it just, like suddenly you get that light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And as I was putting that all together, I suddenly thought, what I am doing with people is helping them to discover their diamond. It's that thing inside them that makes them shine, that fills them with joy, and that makes them sparkle. And it's the bit that most of us keep hidden.
Yeah.
And isn't that a shame? So my thing is about, let's help people uncover that and find jobs or create businesses that help them to radiate that out into the world. So most of the people I work with are carrying on in careers, working for other people. Some of them are, increasingly, actually, as you said, are thinking entrepreneurial, don't want to work for other people, that sort of thing. But, either way, it's about love what you do for your living type of thing.
Yeah.
How that's manifested itself, it comes out in all of the career coaching and the personal development work I do with people. But I've started a group called Discover the Diamond, which is for teenagers, 13, 14, 15-year-olds. We've been meeting on Saturdays once a month. We're moving to Sundays after Easter. And we just have an hour-and-a-half session once a month. And what they love about it is this is about them. It's not about, come and be taught something. So like last week, for example, we did some stuff about, they wanted to do something about confidence and presentations and that sort of thing. Sorry, I've just run over my wires. Yeah, so my head's like suddenly dragged on. So rather than say, look, this is what I know, I said to them, here's some flip chart paper. Go and tell us what you know. So I get them to teach what they know, because that instills it, and then they learn from each other. And what they love is that they learn from each other. So we do things like, we do goal setting, but we do it kinesthetically. So we'll mark out a timeline on the floor and we'll walk it and we'll experience, what does it feel like this time in next year or this time in 2 years? What are your dreams? What does it feel like? What did you already do that helped you get there? What qualities have you got? Who are you becoming as you walk this timeline? So it's all about the being, I think. That's what I love.
Yeah. And I think it's so perfect doing it with our children. And this definitely needs to be in our schools, because can you imagine, I was saying it the other day, like the way I teach Scarlett, because we're lucky, we know this stuff and we can pass it on to our children. But not everybody knows this stuff. But when we are, like, her recent choice was, we went and visited a school down in Dorset. And I had put my judgments on this school because it's Church of England school and I'm not religious. And I'd always said, well, I'd prefer for her to just go to a state non-religious kind of school. And then you learn about everything, make up your own decision, and if you want to get baptized or christened or whatever, then we'll do that, but it's your decision, it's not mine. So I'd put this school to the side. Anyway, that's the school that came up offering a place, and we've been on waiting lists since September.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, well, put your judgment aside. Let's have a look on the website, because I hadn't even looked at the website before.
Well, you have made a decision.
I'd really put my judgments in the way. And I looked at the website and I was like, oh, well, it does look really sweet, actually. Let's just go. And when I was a teenager, I was lucky enough to choose my own secondary school. And I know some kids weren't. Their parents chose what school that they were going to. But me and my sister chose which school we wanted to go to. And luckily, we both got into those schools, separate schools, because we're very, we're different and we need different things.
Yeah.
So I basically left the decision of what school Scarlett wanted to go to up to her. 6.5 years old. She went in. She loved it. She said, yes,
cool.
Look, this is my class. She just owned the place. And her energy for the rest of the day was happy, singing, skipping and dancing down the road. Just like totally aligned energy. And I just thought, I've given her the power to make that decision. If I continue to give her the power to make those decisions and know what feels right and what feels off to her, then can you imagine when she's a teenager and she's in those situations where you're like, oh, do I? Don't I? I'm just going to go with the crowd. But she'll know what feels good or what feels off.
Fantastic.
And it will be instinct. And I don't know, I feel like that's so important. And what you're now starting to teach these teenagers, it's getting that, isn't it?
It's absolutely. Yeah. And it is that, having that instinct and having the self-confidence to say, this is what I believe, and not go with the crowd if they don't believe that that's right for them.
Yes.
It's really important. And it's wonderful that you're teaching Scarlett this stuff, because that will be so useful to her. And these are the skills. It's not just about education, but it's about, these are the skills that when she eventually goes and does a job or starts a business, are the things that will make her successful and give her the flexibility to operate in a world that is ever changing. I mean, we don't know what the jobs are going to be then, do we? You know?
Who knows what our children will be doing for work?
Yeah, exactly. Funding us, no doubt. I don't know. But it's interesting that you bring that up, because since I've got on this Discover the Diamond path and working with young people, we're talking to some schools now about taking coaching into the schools, and there are one or two who are already doing it. And I was speaking separately with a couple of local head teachers over here in Banstead of primary and junior schools, and we were having discussions around, well, when's the right time to start doing this? And we came to the conclusion that it's reception year. You know, it's reception year is the time to give them that responsibility, because young people, when you give them responsibility, you allow them to make decisions, just like Scarlett did. Yeah. Guess what? They step up and do it, and they're brilliant at it.
Yeah.
And there's all of us oldies. So they say, "Oh, you can't do that. You're not old enough."
Yeah, because we've got all those judgments, like I did.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're allowing them space to actually grow into themselves, not into mini versions of us with all of our worries and judgments.
For sure. You know, and that's it. You know, I've set myself this big goal, is to get this stuff into the hands of young people everywhere, you know, which is a madly grand ambition. But you know what? Why not?
No, it is a perfect ambition. I love it.
Yeah, so it's like, and that's where we need to step up and grow individually, isn't it? And I think that's the, you know, when I look back, and I'm sure when most of us look back, before we started knowing all of this stuff, you know, we just went with whatever our reactions were. We hid all of this wonderful stuff behind layer upon layer of judgments and reactions and stuff that we'd learned that kept us safe when we were probably, you know, mini people, you know.
Yeah.
And so we've got to let our own diamonds out to allow other people to let their diamonds shine. That's my belief, anyway.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us are afraid to shine because you know, of various things that have been said when we're growing up, and you know, you're getting too big for your boots, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, how perfect is it to be able to teach children at a young age and go all the way through? I think it's brilliant. What would you say the one question most kids or adults always ask you regarding this?
I think usually the question is, or it comes from, I don't know what to do. What shall I do? Yeah. And you know, unfortunately, one of the things I have to be very clear about is I'm not the man with the magic button that goes, there you are, that's what it is.
That's what you need to do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because actually the answer's in here, isn't it? It's not in here, it's in here, in our hearts. Mm-hmm. And so, and I know you do this as well, it's about people uncovering the who they really are.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's sort of diverting that, or not diverting that question, but saying, before we talk about the what you do, what about the who you be? You know, so the who are you is a really important question, and helping people to uncover that real, there's a sense of peace and calm and joy in there that's very centered. And I think when people connect with that, that's where the answers flow from. And you can, when you're making choices, whether it's with your career or something else, you can always check in with that. And it's a bit like what Scarlett did with the school, consciously or unconsciously. She said, is this right for me? And guess what? It was, because and you saw that because you were skipping down the road for the rest of the day.
That was it. Singing and skipping and dancing for the rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So I suppose it's about, because of the situation I meet most people in, it's like, well, what do I do next? And there's often a lot of fear because people are in a redundancy situation, or they've just got to a point where they hate their job so much that they've got to do something about it. Because there's a lot of people, and I don't know if you've noticed this, who don't like their jobs, but they don't hate it enough to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, but our job is not to
I
tell
got to the
people
point
what
where
to
I
do.
really hated it.
Yeah.
Then I was just like, right, I've got to do this. There's no other way. Got to get out.
Yeah.
But how lovely would it be not to even get to that stage?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think, you were very brave, compared with a lot of people. If I hadn't had redundancy to give me that huge kick up the bum, I probably wouldn't have done anything. I'd still be in a job that, there's nothing wrong with it. The people were nice, the work was okay, the money was good, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I never got up in the morning and went, I'm going to work today. Yeah, and work today is meeting a crowd of people in the morning for breakfast. It's being on a video call with Jane at lunchtime. I mean, how cool is that? What a great working day,
I know, it is. It's so cool. I've done 2 massages, then I did a one-to-one coaching. Now I'm on here with you doing an hour of Wisdom Wednesdays, and then I'm going to collect my daughter from school.
Yeah.
Whereas you'd had gone into after school club.
Yeah.
I don't need that anymore.
No, absolutely. And actually, sometimes Elliot does on a Wednesday do after school club, but because we're here doing this today, I shall be hoofing off around the school later to pick him up. So it's wonderful. Yeah. And he loves it as well. That's the thing.
It's the choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I feel. It's like allowing the diamond within to shine has given me choices. So it's given me the choice whether Scarlett goes into after school club or I collect her at 3:00. It's given me just choices. Do you wake up at 6 a.m., at 7 a.m., or do you wake up when the sun comes up? What's your choice? Because it's, apart from school, the rest of it is my timings, what I decide, which is amazing.
Yeah. And there are things that we have that control over. And sometimes, where a lot of people I work with work in organisations where there are places they have to be. But you can still get a lot of that autonomy, for once, or have the choice within those frameworks to make you, so you can feel fulfilled. So it's when you work out what makes you feel fulfilled, I think that makes a huge difference as well.
Definitely. And I will say, whilst I remember, that I don't know what to do. That was me. That was 100% me. And all the way through my teenage years, I don't know. All the way through my 20s, things, I just fell into things like the IT. That wasn't a conscious choice. That was just, all right, I've got nothing better to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think, most people sort of fall into careers. I went into cartography because it happened to come up at a time when I hated the A-level courses I was doing. And my mum spotted an advert and said, "You like walking, you might like this." And I thought, "Oh, yeah." So it fell into my lap. The computing was a sort of, I went to some people and they said, "Well, you're good at analytical stuff, be an accountant or a computer programmer." And that's kind of where I went, although I drifted very quickly from the programming into the people side of it.
Yeah.
But the first time I made a choice was when I had that redundancy situation. Yeah. And I think it's I didn't know what to do. I was exactly like you. All I knew was it wasn't computing. But just having a goal that said, it's got to be something that I'm passionate about. It's okay to have what other people, or even yourself, you might think it's a vague goal. So for the people that are watching this, you haven't got to have a goal that says, I'm going to be a bus driver or a rocket scientist or whatever. Think about how you want to be and start from that place. So even if it's happy or fulfilled or something like that, start from there. And you know what they say, don't they, that life is, or your life is directly as good as the questions you ask yourself. So, and I think there's a lot in that, actually, because if you run around with questions in your mind like, how can I feel happy today? How can I feel fulfilled today? Or my intention is to be happy and fulfilled today.
Yeah.
How different is your life to the mornings that you wake up and go, oh, blimey, it's raining. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward to that. You know, I mean, just because it's physically raining, I mean, it was belting down this morning where I am. I don't know about where you.
Oh my gosh, it really was. But it sounded so nice on the window.
Well, there you
That's
go.
why I was like, oh, it sounds really nice. It means I'm not going to do my run. Oh well, I'll have to run tomorrow. It's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning to walk where I was going, and I thought, actually, I don't really want to turn up like a drowned rat. But it's about how you look at things, and if you're looking at something, I think talked about what's the favourite question that people ask me. The favourite question that I get people to ask themselves is, firstly, to notice when they're focusing on things that are not to their liking or on the negative side of things, and just to run around with a question in their head: what would I rather have than this?
That's a good one.
Such a powerful question.
What would I rather have more than this?
Yeah. That could
let
be
that
what you're
settle
doing.
into people. Yeah.
Yeah, let that go down. Just that question can be transformational to your level of happiness. And if you're happy, you get better results, don't you?
Yeah, there's another saying that I have. I know from the Access Consciousness kind of group, and our first interview was with Carol Legume, and she is a bars practitioner, and one of their questions is, how does it get any better than this?
That's a brilliant question.
That's a good question as well, isn't it? How does it get any better than this?
Yeah, you know what's really powerful with that is if you deliberately don't answer it, just let the answers unfold during the day.
Yeah, they use it often.
Fantastic.
So fabulous questions. What would you say your mission in life is?
Oh, well, I'm quite clear on that. Actually, good. Yeah. So my mission is to get the skills and confidence to create success into the hands of as many people as possible. And as we've discussed, that particularly relates to young people, because I think if we gave young people those skills, these are the people that are going to run our world in the future. So let's give them the skills to do it, not qualifications, but the skills to be good people, to create someone in my network's created this, and he's worked on it for a number of years, and it's only just starting to let it out there, which is a shame really, but it's I'm talking about it, and just to make sure that he does, because he'll have to catch up. And he's coined this phrase, systemic win. We talk about win-win and win-win-win and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Well, systemic win takes it to another level, because, as a human being, I've got lots of systems in me. I've got my blood system, my energy system, my bone system, and then I've got cells, and the cells have got molecules and atoms. So everything, the systems go down and down and down, but they also go up and up. So I'm part of this community, the Cherish 7 community. I'm part of other communities, my local community, my family community, my town, village, country, the world, the universe.
Yeah.
But, all of those things are different systems that we're part of. And I think if systemic win is about checking in and saying, is what I'm doing a systemic win? Is it positively affecting all levels of that system?
That's good.
And if it isn't, is there something I can do and change the way I do so that it more positively affects more parts of the system? Yeah. Imagine if our global country national leaders operated like that.
Yes, I know.
Imagine if we all operated. I mean, wouldn't that be transformational?
It's got to start somewhere, hasn't it? And I do think there is a massive awakening across the globe of people starting to think like this. We've gone through this whole process where hundreds, thousands of years ago, that we were truly connected to the earth and to spirit and to the energies. And then we've gone all the way through the kind of various revolutions and industries, and I think we're coming through another awakening now where we can have all this technology and it's brilliant, but we need to be connected as well, don't we?
Yes. Yeah, it's that connectedness that gives us that systemic win, I think.
Yes, definitely.
So it's a phrase that I love, and I find myself using it more and more often. And yeah, other people I talk to, you seem to have warmed to it a bit. And I was speaking with someone in the States the other night on a call who's into some sort of corporate strategy.
Yeah.
And interestingly, though, she was talking about we need to be more connected. You know, and I think you used the word collaboration earlier, and so did I. And it is about creating relationships where the employer-employee relationship is not like a parent-son or a servant-master relationship. It's a collaboration between an individual and an organisation, and between the individuals within that organisation. And we get greater fulfilment. You get greater productivity as like a byproduct of that.
Definitely. Whenever I am trying to, force my opinion or my opinion's right.
Yeah.
With Scarlett, when we are open, receiving and giving with each other, flourishes.
Yeah.
And you can see that in all relationships. There's got to be that flow. As soon as there isn't, you can get caught up in just like a negative cycle.
Yeah.
That goes round and round, and you don't really achieve what you could achieve in that relationship if you actually just opened up and allowed yourself to receive, but allowed yourself to give unconditionally.
Yes, that's a really nice point, Jane. Yeah, give unconditionally. Yeah. I like that a lot, and I think that giving is something about, if we give it says to us, I've got enough, and if we've got enough, we create more, so we can give more, and that it can only benefit society, and if Scarlett was sharing that ethos with her friends, that makes a difference to them, and I think it's about the impact we have, and I don't think any of us really fully appreciate the impact that we have, because we can all get into a negative spiral. I'm sure you can, or maybe you can't, but I certainly can.
I can. I've got a video about 2 days ago. I'm panicking. I'm in a negative. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, isn't it? When you start to learn the sort of stuff that we've been learning, the stuff that we're sharing here, and I'm sure. Wherever people are watching, you'll recognize some of this. There comes a point when you start knowing things, and once you know them, you can't unknow them. And then when you get in a negative spiral, you know you've got the tools to get out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's no excuse of I can't. There's no I can't. There's I can't yet, or I can't right now. But the very next thing is, when am I going to choose to come out of a negative cycle?
Yeah, it's the awareness, isn't it? And I've had a few conversations about it this week, because I am a very routined person. I do well in a routine, and that routine, when I was traveling, that routine was a very relaxed routine, but it was a routine. And in my day-to-day life now, I've got my routine, and if I'm out of my routine, I notice the difference in about 5 days.
Wow.
So if I don't run, if I don't do my yoga, if I don't do my meditation, in about 5 days, I am quite irritable. I'm just not feeling quite right. And I'm more likely to get overwhelmed and panicked, especially as I've got, so many big kind of transitions happening at
Yes.
the moment. But yeah, I noticed, it's 5 days, and everybody has their different periods of being out of a routine and what their routine looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, oh God, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway,
But that's, yeah, in itself, in terms of, value for people watching, just sharing that, because it gets us all to think about, so okay, so how long do I need to be out of my routine or out of flow? Because not everybody is a routine person. So for some people, that flow might come not from a routine but from something else. But
yeah,
for all of us, what a great thing to just sort of stop and say, well, at what point does it show?
mm,
And could I notice it earlier so that I can stay back in flow a bit quicker?
yeah, yeah. And
So,
it's interesting how my routine is Monday to Friday, so I don't put any pressure on me doing any running or anything at the weekend. I'll do my yoga still, but it's interesting that I've just done that with what feels good, and now I'm able to notice, that's why I've done it, because 2 days off is fine. 3 days
right.
off is pushing it. 4 days off, 5 days off. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
difference. And I think I know why I said that was because of what you were saying and about being aware and then asking yourself that question, how
yes.
does it get any better than this? What do I need to
Yeah, what would
do
I rather
today?
have?
What would I
Yeah,
rather have? Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking as you were talking. Actually, it goes back to the questions we ask ourselves, and it does.
Yes.
Ask good quality questions, get good quality answers, and
Definitely.
take
And
action.
yeah, and it leads very perfectly into this question.
Okay.
What have you learnt that you wish everybody knew?
Gosh. I don't know if I don't know if it sounds a bit, I don't know, conceited or something, but really sort of everything that I've learned over particularly the last 17 years, but all of that comes from it. If I hadn't done everything that happened before in my life,
Mm,
that wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't, it all, there's a purpose to everything. So never regret anything. But I
yeah.
think in terms of one thing I've learned, I think if I was to sum it up, you've got to take responsibility. You've got to be totally at cause with your own life. And what I mean by that is, whatever happens out there, even if it seems like, someone runs in the back of your car, someone, I don't know, you trip up on a paving stone, say, things happen that are, not ideal. But you can either say, oh, blooming council, or you idiot driving into my car. You go, okay, well, look, I was here. What am I going to do with it now? Because we waste so much energy getting angry and upset. And, I've done plenty of that in my life, and I'll probably do it again, Hopefully I notice it quicker and quicker now.
Yeah, and that's the thing we do as we evolve and as we our vibrations become higher and more aligned, then we notice these things much, much quicker, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and I think that's the thing, particularly when So I think take responsibility for everything, because when you take responsibility, you've got total power in your life. Because in every moment, you can choose what happens next. You can choose how you feel, and you can choose what you do, and you can choose who you are going to be in every moment. Now and it's gone. Now and it's gone. But you can choose it moment by moment, and when you start getting in the habit of that, my experience is that life is just wonderful. And I think you might experience this in meditation or just through sitting still in the middle of your day. I find that if I really get right now in this moment, I've got a smile on my face every time. It's not conscious, but it just comes because in the moment you can't be anything but happy because I'm breathing, I'm comfortable,
Yeah.
So be at cause, be in the moment, and for goodness sake, cut yourself some slack. Well,
Yes.
you know what?
We beat ourselves up more than anybody else does, don't we?
Well, exactly. Most people are their own worst critic, if you like.
Yes.
And particularly with this stuff, you get people to think about, just notice how much negative thoughts you have every day.
Mm.
And if you don't elaborate on that, they go away and they go, blimey, negative thought, negative thought. Oh my goodness, it's a disaster. Gosh, I've done it again. Yeah, which is making it even worse.
Yeah.
But what I say to people is go away and notice when you're having negative thoughts, or when you're focusing on the things you don't want, or you're winding yourself up. We're all quite good at that, aren't we? Wind ourselves up into a stew about something that's never going to happen. Well, maybe I'll speak for myself. I'm very good at that. But when we do that, is the first thing we do when we notice is say, fantastic, I've noticed. And now what would I rather have? So you've got to congratulate yourself on noticing and then change the habit. And if you do something different, eventually you'll have a different habit.
Most definitely, yeah. And the words I used and I use now are, oh, that's interesting.
Yes, nice.
That's interesting. Not, oh God, Jane, you're flipping, thinking about this again, or, oh, that's wrong. That's interesting. I wonder that's happened to me.
But that's really nice, isn't it? Because when you say, oh, that's interesting, then you're becoming an observer of your own life.
Yes.
When you take that observer view, it's much easier to then say to yourself, okay, what would be the best thing to do, or the best thing to feel, or the best thing to be next?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I like that.
Stepping out of the critic, and you so rightly put it, into the observer.
Yes.
Which is much more balanced energy.
Definitely.
Well, we have 3 more questions to go.
Cool.
So
we better crack on then, haven't we?
How do you cherish yourself?
Gosh, that's a really nice question. I like that. And I should expect it from you. I take time every morning. I have a series of stretches that I go through. So it's not yoga. It comes from, I saw someone who does pranic healing.
Oh, yes.
And I learned them from her. And she did it as part of a presentation. And I thought, oh, that's really nice. It's just like getting the energy moving in the morning. So I do that and a few other stretches just to make sure that I don't seize up completely. And then I do a meditation, and that might be 5 or 10 minutes. It might be longer. And often I've picked up, if you go onto YouTube, there are some fabulous meditations. So quite often I'll pick a guided one.
Yes, I like the guided ones.
Yeah.
As well.
And sometimes I'll just sit in silence, or I'll do a guided one and then sit in silence. And I think that sets me up for the day. And what I've started to do, we talked about intentions for the day, is to just make sure that I take some time to stop. So my intention today is, and it's not so much about the goal list, although the list of things that I want to do, that sort of plays through, but it's who do I want to be as I'm doing that? Who am I going to be today? Am I going to be inspiring, inciting people? I did a thing called Core Process with a guy called Andrew Horder, who's The Joyful Genius is his business. What a great name. But it's a sort of 2 words to describe your core essence. And mine came out as inciting awesomeness. And that's
I love
really
that. Yeah.
Great, because when I look back, you think, well, that could guide everything I've ever done. And it helps to guide me to be the best person I can be every day.
That's beautiful.
So that's kind of what I do. And other thing is just taking the time to be with people. So like we've been together today on this call, and for me this is just a totally joyful experience, because we're talking about stuff we're passionate about. We're talking about stuff I hope, and I know, but I really hope that people watching this are getting some value from this as well.
Yep.
And it's a time with people. I like, I'm not a great one for going out in huge throngs of people, but just spending some time with 1 or 2 people at a time is lovely. And high places. I live up in Banstead, so we can walk up onto Epsom Downs, and to be on just on the downs looking out is lovely because it reminds me, and it sort of links to why I used to love mountaineering so much. I mean, I still do, but just being in a higher place is just so peaceful and joyful. So there you go. That's a long answer to a short question.
That's good. And I'm going to, Willow has done some comments. So I'll read out her comments. Let's open an energy and self-love school.
Nice.
We are the future global leaders. Too true. And yes, embracing the negative cycle and seeing what it is showing you. Perfect.
Nice. Really good comments. I love that, Willow. We are the leaders of the future. We are the leaders of the future. Absolutely. So lovely, Willow. Thank you.
How have you transformed?
Golly, if you could have seen me even 2 years ago, you'd notice the difference. Well, I mean, we've known each other maybe 8 or 10 years, have we? I don't know. I think
2011.
Was it? Okay, so 6 or 7 years. Yeah. So, I think I've gone from being guided by what other people are leading me towards or suggesting to actually, I've transformed, and I think it's still an ongoing process, but into letting my own diamond shine and saying that this is what I stand for, this is what I believe in, and I think there was always in the past it was, well, you've got to please everybody. I think a lot of people have that modality running. A lot of people I meet seem to, and actually, I think when you work out what you want and who you want to be, you're much better able to look after other people. So I say how I've transformed is probably coming out of my shell would be how people might describe it, but standing up for this sort of stuff and being happy to talk about it in any company rather than only in safe places, if you like.
Yeah. Yes, that's perfect. And it's almost like, you're on an aeroplane. You've got to sort out your own mask first before you help other people. If you've got a crash, whatever, they always say, put your own oxygen on and then look at other people. And it's like that, isn't it? How much more able are you to help so many people because you've helped yourself first?
Yes. Yeah,
you have cherished and transformed.
Cherished and transformed, and I think is the other thing is being prepared to make a big impact. And everybody out there has an impact, and as we said earlier, it's bigger than we ever realise. And with the sort of ambitions I've got, I've got to step out and do it. Otherwise, it's not going to have the impact, is it?
No, it's not.
So here, I've publicly declared it here.
Yeah. How have you upgraded your life? Right here and now.
But bizarrely, right here and now is the only time we can upgrade our lives, I guess. But having conversations like this is part of that upgrading my life. And there's things I post in the Cherish group sometimes. I'm still working on a lot of stuff, and I think I've got over myself in terms of everything's got to be perfect before you share it. And it's being able to go out there and say, what was the question? Sorry, I think I'm just rambling off away from your question.
How have you upgraded your life?
Okay. Yeah. So I think I was answering the question. It's right. I just wanted to check. So, it is that sort of almost that getting over myself and saying, okay, everything hasn't got to be perfect. Get out there and share the stuff and say, this is my current thinking. It might be useful to you. So it's climbing the mountain with everybody else and bringing everybody else and helping everybody else to do the same thing, rather than thinking, I've got to get to the top and map it all out first, and then I can tell other people, because then they'll miss out otherwise, because there's always more to learn. And if you wait till you've learned it all, you'll never share anything.
Yes. Yeah, that is totally
So
true.
you've got to get out and do it. So I think that's the main way.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom today on Wednesday.
Thank you. It's been so much fun. It has been.
It has been, and I look forward to you coming back on again, whenever that be, and
Yes.
sharing more wisdom with us in the Cherish, Transform, and Upgrade Your Life group.
Thank you.
I'm going to tag you, and well, you're already tagged in the post, but I'm going to put your business page details underneath.
Fantastic.
So people want to connect with you, they can connect to,
Please
the
do.
tag and also the business page as well.
Yeah, please do. I love to connect with people.
And yeah, brilliant. Good. Okay then, Dave. It has been
Thank you, Jane.
fabulous. Thank you so much for joining, and see you in person soon, and
I
definitely
hope
see you on
so.
Wisdom Wednesdays again.
Fab. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Fabulous. Bye.
Bye.